Alright, a new character has come out in Honkai Star Rail, so you know what that means. It's time to take a look at the most trusted tier list in the Honkai Star Rail community, at least on the EN side of things. We're here again at Pridewin.gg, taking a look at the patch 3.1 part 2 tier list for Memory of Chaos, and the reason why we are here is because of bro. It's because of the Chad. It's because of Mans. His name is Mydei, and he is so friggin' cool, bro. I am so stoked this dude has released. Finally, we get a cool dude in the game who's not a little sassy pants. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes the sassy pants characters are kind of funny, alright? But Mydei is just a breath of fresh air, dude. I'm so stoked about this dude. So, bro has landed at tier 0, okay? He has his own action advance. He's SP friendly, okay? We're gonna take a look at his build because and everything going on with the dude because I'm stoked about this dude. I don't even care. I'm glazing right now, okay? So bro's landed at tier 0 because, you know, power creep, right? You know, power creep. It's the thing. But here we go. We're going to take a look at this guy because this guy is so much fun. First, I want to show you guys his light cone is absurd. His light cone is insane. Okay, look at this. 138.10%. And the baseline light cone that they decided to use makes a lot of sense. This is the baseline light cone. It is the Ninja Record Sound Hunt at S5. This is an event light cone, so everyone who was around during patch, I believe it was 2.6, should have this light cone. And so this is a light cone that many players will have, so this is a pretty good baseline to use. And if you don't have this light cone, don't fret too much. Secret Vow has been around since the launch of the game, and it's actually better than that event light cone. And let's take a look here. There's another light cone here that's pretty good. Oh, it was the event light cone. Flames of Far is also a light cone that everyone can get from the in-game shop, from the Memory of Chaos shop. So there are plenty of options for Mydei, despite the fact that he is a HP scaling character. If you have a blade from back in the day, you can use Blade's light cone. You definitely don't need a pull if you have Blade's light cone. But dude, this is like, is this the most insane power spike off of a light cone in the entire game? Let's take a quick look at this, bro. Well, let's just take a look at Herta, right? She's cracked as heck. All right, her light cone has a 114% increase. Obviously, this is one of those characters that, like, the E1 is probably better to pull. Let's take a look at another character here. Fei Xiao. Dude, Fei Xiao's light cone is incredible on her, but it's a 121%, which is wild. This is a wild power spike. However, Mydei shits on this, bro. Mydei absolutely poops up a storm on that light cone. Holy crap, 138%. Okay, so let's read the light cone. Increases the wearer's max HP by 18% up to 30%. And incoming healing by 20% up to 40%. But that's just line 1, brother. When using a skill or ultimate, consumes HP equal to, 6% up to 8% of the wearer's max HP, which does proc part of his kit, by the way, so that's not a bad thing, and increases the damage dealt by this attack by 30% up to 50%. That's just line 2, okay? If this effect consumes HP that is greater than 500, which is probably not that hard to do with a guy like this, the damage additionally increases by 30% up to 50%. Bro, that combo is insane. And if the current HP is not sufficient, this effect reduces the wearer's current HP down to 1, which literally just does not matter because within his kit, he basically is hard to kill. Like, he does hurt himself a lot, but he has a mechanic where, like, he can't literally die. He literally has 3 instances where he does not die while in the Vendetta state, and he's in the Vendetta state like 99% of the time. Okay, Mydei signature and best in slot option by a landslide. It grants him an absurd 60% damage increase to the majority of his kit. The crazy high base HP, increased HP percentage, and most importantly, a unique mechanic that allows Mydei to build his talent charge more quickly. That's what we were talking about earlier, where it literally just helps him charge even faster or even more. Mydei without his light cone is literally on a different level, and that is 100% true. Dude, 38% doesn't just fall out of the sky, dog. It literally just doesn't fall out of the sky. There's only so much you can do with your gear on a character. Let's go here to his talent, just so you guys can see. Or actually, it's part of his, it's not part of his, it's part of his A2, right? During the Vendetta state, Mydei will not exit the Vendetta state when receiving a killing blow. That's to him, not to an enemy, to him. When he receives a killing blow, he literally can't die, and you get 3 procs of this per battle. 3 get out of jail free cards, and that's just one of his traces, brother, okay? Now, I went deep into his kit in a different video. If you want to check that out, you totally can. I'll link it in the description. Now, I wanted to go over his different teams, of course. All right, so here are his teams, and you notice it says best current team. Current team. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Looks like, you know, maybe next patch, anniversary, maybe a character comes out that might potentially create another best team for Mydei. Anyways, Tribby is also on his best team because, duh, another HP scaler, and Tribby's just absolutely cracked, right? And then you have Sunday here, who is a great amplifier for a number of different reasons. Part of it is obviously the energy gain that you can give Mydei to just boost him straight into his ultimate, which will trigger his Vendetta state, and he'll basically just remain in that Vendetta state like the entire remainder of battle. Now, we have alternative teams here using Sparkle because as much as people like to act like she fell off, bro, she is more niche than she used to be, but she still is in plenty of different Zero Cycle teams, bro. She still has her place in the meta. She's still very strong. She's just not literally Robin or Ron May. Speaking of Ron May, Ron May stay winning out here, bro. She has another solid team here with Mydei. And we also see Jiao Cho here, which I find very interesting. I think was actually a pretty solid choice. Obviously, this works well on a Mydei team, right? And then, of course, the amplifiers, they're going to basically stay the same out here unless you're free-to-play. Let's take a look at a free-to-play team here. Of course, you have the Remembrance Trailblazer, absolutely monstrously cracked. Probably the most used character right now, just because they're so solid. They're just so good as an amplifier. So, like, basically, there's like the free-to-play god out here. Now, obviously, Pela with the enemy-wide debuffing works really well with a character like Mydei, who, because you can't control Mydei, and I did go over that in the other video, he literally cannot be controlled. He literally, like, once he goes into Vendetta state after you ult him, you can't control the guy anymore. It's basically like hitting auto battle and watching what auto battle does, and you might as well do it because bro literally cannot be controlled. And so having a character like Pela who defense downs all of the enemies, you never have to worry about what enemies you're hitting, essentially. And so a really, really solid character for that. And you have, of course, again, the usual suspects as the sustainability characters. I find it funny this is the free-to-play team, though, and they only included 1 4-star for the healers. But to be fair, you know, most people have Huohuo these days, or Locha. You know, it's been a long time. You probably have one of these 3 characters if you're free to play. Now, I wanted to point this out as well because I found this to be very interesting. Obviously, he's an HP scaler, so many of the time an HP piece of gear is going to be solid for him, and an HP body is actually really good on this character, and you don't even see a crit rate body here as a priority, and that's because within his kit, he actually gives himself a ton of crit rate. So, kind of like Jing Liu from back in the day who gave herself a ton of crit rate, you literally just don't need a crit rate body on her. Build a crit damage body or an HP body, depending on what your substats are. That's what you want to focus on the most, is your substats rather than anything else. Link rope, there's only one option. Go with the HP, of course. And then planar sphere, you have the HP or you have the imaginary. I'd go with HP just because he's an HP scaler and it gives him more survivability. And so much of his kit works off of HP as well. And the more HP you drain, potentially, especially if you have his light cone, the better it could be. So I would go with the HP sphere there. Now, as far as the relics are concerned, you have the Scholar Lost in Erudition as his best piece here. Of course, that crit rate does help him out, but it's mainly obviously the increased damage dealt by skill and ultimate by 20%, and after using his ultimate, which is like a big part of his kit, additionally increases the damage dealt by the next skill by 25%, right? And that's where a lot of his damage is going to come from. This is still a super duper strong piece to be able to use. Longevous Disciple from back in the day, this was essentially Blade's signature set, and it's still really good on a character that's HP scaling like Mydei. 94% compared to his best other in slot. That's really, really solid. And something to remember, substats are more important than the main, like, gear bonus, right? So don't think that just because you have a Longevous Disciple set and it's been a long time that this is bad, because you might have a super duper cracked Longevous Disciple set from back in the day when you farmed out Blade, and it will perform better than a non-optimal set of gear for Scholar Lost in Erudition. So keep that in mind, guys, okay? Substats are far more important than set bonuses. Again, you could have like the 3rd or 4th best set but have insanely good substats, and it could perform better than a non-optimal best-in-slot set. I know that might sound confusing, but that's genuinely just the truth, okay? Now, obviously, you could run a flex set with Scholar Lost in Erudition, or another piece like Longevous Disciple once again, or Wastelander of Banditry Desert, or of course, Pioneer Divers. Pioneer Divers is literally just one of the best sets in the game. It's been out for over a year and still is optimally like one of the best sets you can put on basically any character, as long as the enemies are debuffed, which is another reason why Pela could be a potentially good character to use on a team like this. Now, the set that honestly I think everyone should just be trying to go for is the Bone Collection set, right? Because here's the thing. Increases the wearer's max HP by 12%, something everybody's going to want. And when the wearer's max HP is 5,000 or higher, it increases the wearer's and their memo sprite's crit damage by 28%. Now, bro doesn't have a memo sprite, but that don't matter. As long as he's getting some massive amount of crit damage, that's really, really good. The extra HP, the extra crit damage, because you get so much crit rate, you should easily be able to get a really, really solid set on this guy and get a really, really solid bonus. This planar, in my opinion, should be the only one you're really looking at, okay? Now, you might have some older sets that have better substats. Like I said, substats are more important, but I think everyone should be trying to build into this particular planar over time. Don't forget, one reason Pridewind didn't mention Robin here is because Robin gives you a fat attack buff, and he's an HP scaler, so the fat attack buff basically goes to waste on him, which is why you saw somebody being recommended such as Sparkle instead, because Sparkle gives you a ton of crit damage, which is something he could really utilize, especially giving himself so much crit rate in battle. So Sparkle getting another W, she is more niche, but this is one of those moments where she gets to shine up really, really heavily. So Robin, I'm sure in some team comps, if you're trying to speedrun or something like that and you have enough damage output, she could maybe still be good, but most players should try to focus on characters that will give you a natural damage percent. Somebody like Ron May, or somebody that'll give you like a crit damage or a crit rate bonus, etc. Somebody like Sunday, or somebody like Sparkle, something to be aware of if you're always pairing him with Sunday. Sunday gives you crit rate, and he already gives himself so much, you might not need the crit rate that he has. So you don't have to prioritize crit rate practically at all on a team when Sunday is right next to him. So just be aware of that. You don't want to overcap on your crit rate with Sunday. Just something to be aware of when building him. Now, you'll also notice that Mydei's presence in the game now did not actually bring anybody up on the list yet, but sometimes on day one, Pridewind doesn't update the rest of the characters that could synergize with the character really well. Sometimes it comes in like the next update. We're going to be getting a new Memory of Chaos in like, I think 12 days, maybe 13 days. So maybe by then you'll see a change in some of these other characters. But to be honest with you, considering one of the only best in slots here that could see a change is maybe Sparkle, because she's more niche, and like, yeah, him coming into the game does give her a lot more value. I really think that it gives her a lot more value because she's really, really good with the guy, like really, really, really strong. But obviously, if Triby's already really strong with him, she's already tier 0. She can't go up. Ron May can't go up any higher. Sunday can't go up any higher, right? Maybe Gallagher could go up, but he's just simply not as good as some of these other characters. So I don't think you'll necessarily see any other movement with any other characters due to his presence in the game, except for maybe Sparkle. All right, this is day 1, so maybe you won't end up seeing the change. Don't forget, taking a character all the way up to tier 0.5, that is a pretty big jump in like power output. I do think that Sparkle has a chance of coming up again, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Especially when Mydei's next best team that comes out next patch is not going to include her in that team. And the best current setup for Mydei already doesn't include her. It includes somebody like Sunday instead, so I don't think that's enough to bring her up on the list, right? And I'm hyper-focusing on the Sparkle situation right now simply because we've already covered all the other characters that changed in the last update in a different video whenever Tribby came out, right? And trust me, Memory of Chaos changes in like around 10, 11 days from now by the time you see this video, and there will be a new Memory of Chaos buff. There will be different weaknesses, different enemies. You're gonna see this tier list change around a little bit when that does eventually happen. Now, let me know if you are going to be pulling Mydei. Let me know if you like this character. I think I love this dude. I'm so happy he's in the game. This guy, in my opinion, is single-handedly carrying Honkai Star Rail on his back by himself right now, especially in the main story. Anyways, you guys like this kind of stuff? Consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.